Oversight of the federal bureaucracy. Remember, federal is national. Bureaucracy is the groups of departments, agencies, commissions, etc. Uh, that actually carry out the laws, the functions day to day of the federal government. Oversight, to oversee, is to watch over. So all the men and women who go to work at the Department of Defense or Department of Education, Department of Energy, the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, the CDC, Center for Disease Control, etc., all of those are held responsible to both the president and Congress, as well as kind of the courts. So we'll get to that in a second. So when you oversee them, what does Congress do? Congress is the one that actually created them. As you should know, the Homeland Security, Department of Homeland Security, was the most recent department created. It was created after September 11th. They already were working on it. It wasn't a brand new idea, but after the terrorist attacks of September 11th, they hurried up and got it done. And that included moving FEMA, as well as the Coast Guard, Border Patrol, and others under one department, Homeland Security. They created that. The Congress also creates the budget. They work with the president. President can veto it. President asks for money, and Congress can deny. But the budget, the funding, is from Congress. These two are essentially the same. That when they can actually call committee hearings, and then the leaders of the departments or the agencies will show up for a committee hearing, and Congress will investigate whether or not the law that was created, that the department, etc., has to enforce, is being enforced properly, whether or not a new law needs to be created, or funding needs to change. But again, as the laws are being enforced by the departments, Congress is watching to see if they are enforcing it right. Often this might happen, these investigations, after a news media story. So for example, if there is a E. coli outbreak out in farms, they might call the Department of Agriculture head, or they might call the FDA, Food and Drug Administration head, to investigate how the process of watching for food contamination is occurring, and if the law is being enforced right, do they need more agents, etc. They can pass new legislation that alters the agency's function. Again, for example, when they created the new Department of Homeland Security, they moved previously created agencies like Border Patrol over to Homeland Security, and they might have changed some laws while they were doing that. I'm not sure. And then finally, of course, the Senate, and you have to get it right on the test, the Senate confirms or fails to confirm the heads of most of these departments and agencies. So the president picks them, and then the Senate confirms. So there's quite a bit that Congress can get involved in when it comes to the bureaucracy. And then, of course, the president picks the heads of these departments and agencies. He's the one who picks the leaders of them and sets the goals. And again, the Senate has to confirm. And he tends to pick and likes to pick people that agree with him and the future and the goals of what the agency should do. So that can switch back and forth with different presidents. Don't worry about this one. We're not covering reorganizing the bureaucracy. Trying to change the money, move money around. There's a lot of debate on whether or not he should be able to do that. If Congress made a law when they did a budget over here, they could require that the money be spent on that agency. But often the money is so generically given to an agency that the president can move the money around. And a good example of this is when President Trump was looking for funding for the wall between the US and Mexico. He moved money that was allocated or used for defense projects. He moved that money over to the building or constructing part of that wall. So if Congress had been more specific, presidents can't move the money so easily, but as it stands, they often have some leeway room on how they want that agency to spend its money. Finally, executive orders are a really big deal. Becoming a bigger deal. This is the Theodore Roosevelt reading that you have to do or have already done for class. Executive orders, again, set the direction of what an agency or department is doing. They can be as small as snowmobiles in Yellowstone Park during the winter. It could be something about or whether or not you can hunt in Yellowstone, or it could be a little more well known, like DACA, where President Obama issued 2-year visas to undocumented or illegal immigrants who had come over here as children, who were in their 20s. So he told the immigration to issue these 2-year visas. And then those were restricted under Trump, and then I don't know where they'll head in the future. But that's an example, multiple ways the president influences the bureaucracy. Of course, the bureaucracy falls under the executive branch, and the president is the head of the executive branch. Finally, just to note, this will not be on the test at this time, but if there is an issue with a bureaucratic, department or agency, and you can sue them. If you think, something's violating a law, the individual, let's say a farmer, says that the Department of Agriculture is violating the law as written, the way that they're carrying out their actions on a farm, or there are states that have sued the Department of Education, saying that the Department of Ed is reading the COVID law, COVID spending wrong, and they are distributing the CARES Act money wrong. So the states sued the Department of Education on that issue. So individuals could, states can, businesses can sue based on law and bureaucratic action. So again, to review, this is all oversight of the bureaucracy. And the president, it falls under the presidency, but Congress is the one that created it. Both partake in funding the money for it. And then there is recourse if you think a law is being carried out wrong, and you can have a lawsuit.